Gano. Gano so gwego. Gyaso gawenki se. Gayangehaga nyagoi shout da. Gayangehaga Haudenosaunee. What I said was greetings of peace to you. Actually, it's in the Cayuga language. I was raised, although I'm Mohawk, my father and his parents are learned, and I understood the Cayuga language, which is one of the 6 nations. So greetings of peace to you from my people. This is our traditional territory. I want to acknowledge my ancestors and welcome to our territory. What I want to speak to you today about is my role as a president of the Native Women's Association of Canada and the issues that we have to address and the effects of globalization on Indigenous women in Canada. And in my travels, also understanding that the issues of globalization is affecting Indigenous women in the world. I'm honored to be able to share with you our discussions of how to build international solidarity to celebrate Indigenous sovereignty. The Native Women's Association of Canada is an organization that has existed for the last 32 years, and the reason why it exists is because of the impacts of colonization and the inequalities that are occurring in our communities as a result of colonization. We have 13 affiliates across the country, 1 in every province and territory. And much like a grandmother's lodge, we as aunties, mothers, sisters, and relatives recognize, respect, promote, defend, and enhance our spiritual ancestral laws, beliefs, language, and traditions that have been given to us by the Creator. Today is a day to celebrate because of all of the difficult work that we as Indigenous peoples have had to endure and have survived. We're still here, and we're still here to talk to you. We've maintained our ancestral ways, and as Indigenous women, as Ongwahoe women in my language, we've been raised with these laws and traditions. And in order to do that in today's world, a lot of the effects of colonization, we have to reclaim who we are. And reclaiming our traditional roles and responsibilities as keepers and caretakers of our lands. I'm actually proud to say that in the last couple of years, I've been involved and appointed as a national chair of this organization called the National Aboriginal Council on Species at Risk. And it addresses the protection, revitalization, and conservation of species at risk as a result of environmental damage, of climate change. And in order to do that, we have to know why it's happening, which is why I'm here to talk to you about. So the role of Indigenous women is an important one, and it has been acknowledged in our spiritual laws as being a respected and honored person in our communities because of our roles of being the life givers, the life carriers, caregivers, healers, and natural leaders. However, with the quest for globalization, our role has been displaced and challenged. As women, we do bring a balanced approach to issues due to our roles in our communities. Each one of us has witnessed globalization. Each one of us has witnessed the need to clear our Indigenous traditional territories to make room for so-called development. Whether it's for transporting goods, making way for the manufacturing industry, development, and so on. Globalization can be seen in many lights. Many people will say it is a positive reflection of what technology can bring to us, to mobilize and decentralize isolated communities and bring them to a level footing in the world without leaving their communities. However, many of these isolated or remote communities are often what we as Indigenous people call home. So how has globalization affected so many of our people today? This is a question with many answers. There will never be a definite or complete answer, but I'd like to share a little bit of my own perspective on what globalization has done to Indigenous women, and actually what we have done to address this and what we can celebrate today to affect change and what needs to be moved along. There are many positive outcomes from the increased awareness of Indigenous women's roles and responsibilities and the issues that are affecting us. A lot of what we're doing is opening up new opportunities both within Canada, domestically, internationally. There are opportunities now today for women to challenge and change their economic status and doing the things that are needed and using our traditional roles and responsibilities. Globalization has opened up our communities to exploitation, endeavors that previously would not have exploited us, had there not been such easy access to these new resources. As competition for resources intensifies, crown corporations, mostly government-driven economic ventures, and corporations interested in economic development are drawn to Indigenous lands and territories, where most of the Earth's remaining stores of natural resources are found.